Hello, and welcome to Lecture 14. This will be the last lecture for this course, so there will be no lecture tomorrow. I want to give you a little extra time to study for your next quiz and your final exam that are next week. So check the syllabus for the dates and times that those will be due. So, last lecture we talked about landspelts and we talked about supercell tornadoes and the differences. And we talked about mechanisms for tornado formation. We talked about tornadoes on radar and how we look at the hook echo and the debris ball. So now we're going to talk about watches and warnings in severe weather safety. And this is important because a lot of you will be generating watches and warnings in your future careers. So we'll talk about SPC outlooks. I check these every single day. You just type in SPC day 1 convective outlook, and then you can get day 2 and day 3 as well. So you can type that into the Google search bar and find it. So the Storm Prediction Center issues these daily outlooks up to 8 days in advance of a severe weather event. Yeah, so they have like a day 4 through 8 GIF option, but they don't give like the slight marginal. They just give like a percentage for future events. So the Storm Prediction Center is a national hub that monitors the possibility for severe weather around the nation, and they are on the 3rd floor of the Weather Center. So we really go to the best school ever because we have the SPC, and that's just so awesome. It's really cool. It's really cool. Daily outlooks help you to plan ahead for the potential of severe weather. So, they issue specific outlooks for severe wind, hail, and tornadoes. So you can see, like, up top, they have little, like, categories you can click on. So you can click on tornado, wind, or hail. Or you can just click categorical, which will give you an overview for severe events. So this gives you details about specific severe weather threat forecast. This specific severe weather forecasters. Sorry. Anyway, it's specific for a given day of what type of weather you'll be getting. And then they're combined into one large overarching outlook. So, like this one right here. So, this categorical outlook legend is just a combination of these three things. So, this is the combined this was March 23rd through the 24th in 2020. So there was like a slight chance of severe weather. So you can say, oh, okay, there's going to be some severe weather this day. But then you can go and click through these options. So you click on the tornado option. It's like, okay, the ingredients aren't there to make tornadoes. Like, you're probably not going to have a tornado. But then you click on the wind and you can see, okay, there's a reasonable chance for wind. It's like a low probability, only a 5% chance of this wind damage, but the chance is there. The real damage for this event is going to be the hail, and so there is a 15% hail probability for this. So that's why they upped the chance to slight. So they're issued up to 8 days in advance. They change a lot depending, and also not all severe weather days will get a percentage chance. They just do that for when they're really sure. They can also put like, no severe weather threat is like imminent, like it doesn't seem like there's going to be severe weather, or like the predictability is too low, like you can't figure it out. So they'll either put one or the other. But if the models are really lining up and it looks like there's going to be a severe weather event that far in the future, they'll usually tag it with like a 15 or 30% chance of severe development. But this gives forecasters and the public lots of time to communicate the threat and time to prepare. So, yeah, so the predictability is too low. So, this is like the 7 days out. It flashes through this GIF. Normally, you don't get something this good. Like, you can know that this is going to be a severe event. When 6 days out, you get a 15% chance. Like, it's like, okay, this is probably going to be severe. So 7 days out, it's hard to predict storms this far into the future. So usually if the predictability, like, you can't figure it out yet, it will say predictability too low. But if it doesn't look like there's going to be a severe storm, like if you have a ridge in place or something, it will just say probability too low. So 6 days out, suddenly they're issuing the 15%. Doesn't happen that often. Like, a lot of weeks you'll just get a bunch of predictability too low, or like a 15%. But if they're really getting sure, they will like add in this 30% here. So 4 days out, they've already got it pinned at a 30% chance. So you can think, oh wow, like the storm isn't for like another 5 days, and we're already thinking that there's a 30% chance that severe weather is going to develop. All of these models must be agreeing and saying something particularly severe. So then 3 days out, they have this 30% chance again. It shifted a little bit. They increased the region a little bit, and they moved it a bit north. And then 2 days out, so this is the SPC day 3, they issue a moderate. And I would say that it's not typical for them to issue a moderate 3 days out. They usually kind of save the bigger forecasts to getting closer, so they'll be sure. So they were pretty sure that this is going to be a pretty severe event. If 3 days out, they're saying moderate. And then 2 days out, they also have a moderate. And then they increased up here in this main region, they increased it to slight. So usually the closer you get to the forecast period, the more intense these forecasts will become. So the day of, they decided to put in a high risk. So high is 5 out of 5 severe weather risks. So usually when you have a high risk day, that's going to be one of those really severe weather days where bad things happen. But sometimes you have a high risk day and then nothing happens. So when was this? I can't even read it. Wait. Is this the same year? Okay, my vision's not that good. Anyway. Is this the same one? Okay, this is May 20th, 2019. I think this is the same. Yeah. So you can look at these outlooks and a bunch of other different products from the SPC at spc.noaa.gov. So on large severe weather days like this one, the SPC releases public weather outlooks. So it's like the regular SPC outlooks, but they use less jargon and details. Like this one, there's a link if you want to read it. And it shows the city locations more clearly in the images. So they make it better for the public to look at if they have these high-risk days. I just read the jargon-filled forecast because at first when I was reading it, I was like, man, this makes no sense. But if you keep reading them over and over, eventually it just becomes like natural. Like it becomes like your own language. Like you'll understand it. So I recommend just going into the SPC and just reading their outlook pretty frequently and getting used to it because it becomes pretty easy to tell what they're talking about. So, watches and warnings. The SPC outlooks give a broad picture, but watches and warnings will tell what's going to happen in the course of a few hours or what's currently happening. So, the SPC doesn't really issue these watches and warnings. The watches and warnings are issued by weather service offices. So, we also have a weather service office in our school, National Weather Service Norman. But there's like several weather service offices in each state usually, and they each have their own region that they issue the watches and warnings for. And it's important to know the difference between a watch and a warning. So a watch, it means like the ingredients are there to form severe weather, but the severe weather hasn't formed yet. And then a warning means that the severe weather is on the ground. So you can have like a severe weather warning or a tornado warning. So severe weather warning means like hail, 1-inch diameter hail, or 58 mile per hour winds. And then the tornado warning means that a tornado is on the ground. And those watches, the severe weather watch and tornado watch, just means the ingredients are present to form those. So here is the cupcake watch and the cupcake warning. So for the cupcake watch, you have all the ingredients that you need to make the cupcake, but for the cupcake warning, the cupcake is baked and it is fully prepared and it is on the table and it is ready for consumption. So, yeah, I just talked about these. So there's two main types of watches and warnings. So for tornado, you have tornado watch, which means tornadoes may form in the near future, and tornado warning, which a tornado has either been spotted by a trained storm spotter, or it's likely occurring based on the radar returns. And then for severe thunderstorm, the severe thunderstorm watch means that severe thunderstorms may form in the near future. And a severe thunderstorm warning means the thunderstorm is producing severe hail or winds. And it's already formed, and it's either has reports of the hail size and wind speed above the threshold collected by storm spotters, or it's happening based on radar returns. So watches are issued by the Storm Prediction Center, and warnings are issued by the forecast office. Yeah, so the watches are usually like a large area, and so the Storm Prediction Center does those watches. And then the warnings themselves, like where the tornadoes are, that's where the local forecast office comes in and issues the warnings. So our local forecast office is the NWS Norman, which is in the National Weather Center, like I said. Okay, you should not rely on outdoor tornado sirens to alert you that a tornado warning has been issued, because they're not operated by the National Weather Service. Sometimes they go off late, and it freaks me out when they go off late, because I feel like I'm missing something. But yeah, they're just meant to be heard by people outside, not inside, and they're not always accurate. So a lot of people say to get the severe weather radio, which loudly alerts you, like it will wake you up if there's severe weather in your area, and it runs on backup batteries if the power goes out, so that's good. I usually just use my phone, but I think that the radio is like a way better bet if you're trying to be safe. Yeah, I have notifications on for my phone. You can get them, so just go in your settings, tap on the notifications, and then scroll to the bottom, and then turn on the emergency alerts, and it will give you an alert for when there's a watch or a warning in your area. I think it only gives you a warning message. I don't know if it gives you a watch. I don't think I've ever gotten a watch. I've only gotten warning. Okay. I think this might be the last PowerPoint. Sorry if it's not, but I think it is. Okay, so we just talked about the SPC outlooks, and we talked about watches and warnings, and we talked about how to get the information. So let's talk about a severe weather plan. So there's more details at this link if you want to click it. So you should create a tornado safety kit and list. So items that would be extremely useful to have in your storm shelter or to take with you to a storm shelter when severe weather strikes. So you need non-perishable food and water. So you don't want to be like starving and like stuck in a tornado shelter. Like you should have some food. Bring your documents with you. Whenever there's like severe weather in the area, I'm like leaving, I always take like my like birth certificate and stuff with me. I don't leave that at home if there's a chance that it's gonna get destroyed. Closed-toed shoes. You don't want to be wearing open-toed shoes in a tornado. Battery-operated TV or radio. Your cell phone, your car keys, and something to cover your head or protect you from your debris. I wear the bike helmet. I am a huge bike helmet advocate, but some people advocate for the metal colander. The problem with the metal colander is that you have to hold it over your head, but it's good in a flash. Like if a tornado is coming over you, you want to protect your head because like it could save your life. So I recommend the bike helmet. It's easy and you can have your hands free. So know where your family will take shelter. So if you're outside, get inside. And if you're already inside, go into the middle of the building and go downstairs. Get underground if you can, but if you can't, go to the lowest floor possible. Don't be on the top floor. Like, leave. Like, don't be on the top floor. And cover up. Flying and falling debris are the storm's #1 killer, so use pillows, blankets, coats, helmets, etc. to cover up and protect your head and body from flying debris. I mean, if you're in a weak tornado, you don't necessarily have to, like, put a mattress over yourself or something, but, you know, it wouldn't hurt to, like, wrap up in a blanket. At the least, it would be comfortable. But I definitely recommend the bike helmet or the colander. Like, the number one thing you should protect is your head, but other things like wrapping up in a blanket or something like that can protect you from glass. And then go to the lowest level and into an interior room. No windows. Mobile homes are not safe. You do not want to be in a mobile home. Look at that thing. That thing could just get blown right away. Even in an EF1 tornado, or even in an EF0 tornado, it can severely damage a mobile home and roll it over. And that's why tornado safety plans are crucial for residents in mobile homes. So they can't stand up to a weak tornado, and so you need to make plans before the storm arrives to get to a safe shelter. So get out of the mobile home and find substantial shelter as quickly as possible. I mean, honestly, like, going to, like, a gas station and getting in the bathroom of a gas station is better than being in a mobile home. Like, don't be in a mobile home during a tornado. Just leave. And that's why it's good to check the forecast and make sure that there's no severe weather if you're in one. Like, you have to really know what's going on and be aware to stay as safe as possible. If you're outside or away from your home during the warning, find a substantial shelter and get inside. Sheltering in the ditch is a last resort. Yeah. I mean, people say to get in a ditch. That's really a last resort. Like, yeah. Don't get in a ditch instead of, like, going inside a building. Like, if you see a building, like, go in that. Unless it's a mobile home, don't go in the mobile home. But yeah, I think that, like, I think about this a lot, and I think if I was, like, on the road and there was, like, suddenly tornadoes, I would probably go into a gas station bathroom. Like, that seems like it would be the easiest to access, and it would be appropriate to go inside. Like, you're not going inside somebody else's house. So, yeah. And it's also on the first floor. Walmart's, like, the aisles of Walmart, like, it's so easy to blow the roof off of a Walmart, and there's so much debris. So if you have to go to, like, a Walmart or something, like, go in the bathroom of the Walmart, which is kind of, I mean, like, going into a bathroom of anywhere isn't, like, that sanitary, but, I mean, it can save your life. So, yeah. Small room, inside, no windows. Avoid debris and stuff like that. If you're driving, pull off the road and find a sturdy shelter to ride out the storm. Avoid driving through flooded areas. Sturdy shelter does not mean under the bridge. Do not park under an overpass when there's a tornado. Like, you're better off just to keep driving. Under an overpass is, like, one of the most dangerous places you can be in a tornado besides a mobile home, because it acts like a wind tunnel, and it can create, like, really, you can really get hurt in there. So don't pull into an overpass. A warning: never shelter under overpasses. Oh yes, like I just said. So a lot of popular media says to park under the overpass and ride out the storm, but it's actually one of the most dangerous places to be under a storm, because it can cause traffic jams. The wind blows faster under the overpass. There's a lot of debris that can blow under the overpass, and climbing up under an overpass with faster winds, it has more dangerous debris. And there's a link to this. Yeah. So these bridge things in the road, they ain't it. Oh, Biloxi, Mississippi. That's where my grandparents live. Anyway. No. Don't. Yeah. Nope. Go to a gas station. Okay, create a plan. Where do we need to go? What do we need to bring? And make that list, and then practice your plan. OU has tornado shelters, and they're closed to the public because of COVID, which is really not good. But I hope they open them back up to the public, because it's really unfortunate that a lot of people in Norman don't have a place to go. Here's an updated list. Okay, there's an updated list, and hello, where's the list? Okay, I'm sure it's probably in here somewhere. I've looked it up a lot, so yeah. Anyway, if you're an OU student, there's a lot of places on campus where you can go, and like the Blender, the Physical Sciences Center, I think that they open and they accept animals if you have an animal. National Weather Center is not a public shelter, and people go there, and like the shelter, they turn people away, and you'll be just as safe and less cramped at another OU tornado shelter. Also, don't bring your pet to the National Weather Center because my ex-boyfriend took my cat there while I was out storm chasing, and they turned him away. And him and the cat had to ride out the tornado in the parking garage. Because I don't understand that. Like, that's so messed up. But yeah, they wouldn't let the cat go in. So don't bring your animals to the National Weather Center. Just go to like the Blender or something like that because they will reject you. Anyway, here's a video about tornado shelters from OU Office of Emergency Preparedness. So I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah, so this course is over. Thank you so much for watching my lectures. I know it was kind of a short course and it was a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, but I appreciate you watching my lectures, and if you don't mind giving me feedback, feel free to ask me questions if you have any. Good luck on your exam and your quiz next week. Check the syllabus and make sure you have those dates down because they're coming up quickly. Yeah. Well, I hope you had a nice summer, and if you see me in the National Weather Center, feel free to say hi to me. Bye!